Hello, hello. Capturing, capturing. Hello, hello. I think that worked. Okay, here we go. Hopefully the stream looks good. Sounds good, feels good. Hello, hello. Capturing, capturing. Hello, hello. I think that worked. Okay, here we go. Hopefully the stream looks good. Sounds good, feels good. Okay, welcome. Hello, hello. Capturing,
I
capturing.
think I have
Hello.
a successful stream
It worked.
live. Took a little bit of setup. I don't know if that's the best spot.
Okay, here we go. Hopefully
Should
the
feel it
stream
out.
looks good.
Maybe no
Sounds
webcam.
good, feels good.
You guys know what I look like, right? Okay, welcome.
Hello, hello. Capturing.
Some people like the
think
webcam.
I have
a successful stream.
Not sure if I
do. Okay, what I'm going to be doing today is coding live. Took a little bit of setup. I don't know if that's the I'll just make myself best spot.
Okay, here we go.
Boom.
Hopefully
Should
the
feel it
stream
out.
looks good.
Maybe no
Sounds
webcam.
good, feels good.
Okay,
You guys
let's
know
just
what I
do
look
it like that for now.
Okay, welcome.
Okay,
Hello,
so what I'm
hello.
doing here
Some
is
people like the webcam.
learning
I have
how to
a
do
successful
coding.
stream. Not sure if
So
I do.
HTML, CSS. Okay, what I'm going to be doing today is coding live. Took a little bit of setup. I don't know if that's I'll just make myself best spot.
Okay, here we go.
Boom.
Hopefully
Should
the
feel
stream
it out.
looks good.
Maybe no
Sounds
webcam.
good, feels good.
Okay,
You guys
let's
know
just
what I
do
look
it like that for now.
Okay, welcome.
Okay,
Hello,
so what I'm
hello.
doing here
Some
is
people like the webcam.
learning
I have
how to
a
do
successful
coding.
stream. Not sure if
So
I do.
HTML,
Ooh.
CSS.
We got
Okay,
feedback.
what I'm going to be doing today is coding live. Took a little bit of setup. Hopefully I don't have feedback within the desktop audio. Hopefully we're okay. Got some nice music, background music, YouTube. Let's get to it. Okay, inline flex. We're going to start in media res, guys. This is current skill path, HTML, CSS, GitHub pages, 67%. You're going to learn at the pace that I'm going. And if I want to make this official, start a series, you guys can see my poor... Here, let's try to do this. Okay, which of the following is the default position value? Is it fixed, static, relative, or absolute? I believe it's either static or fixed. We're gonna go with fixed. I think I made that mistake last time. Which of the following positioning values will remove an element from the flow of the HTML document? I don't know. So this is why I just do bad on these quizzes. So this has me at 67%. So syllabus so far of what I'm trying to do is learn how to code and learn how to create websites. It's a good skill, and then I just generally need to learn coding. Just figure out how computers work. I don't want to go to school and take a computer science degree. I already have a bachelor's in business, so it's just time to learn these hard skills. So I'm on this lesson here, Advanced CSS Flexbox. And this is where we're going to start because I don't want to do the quizzes. So inline flex, flexbox, 5-minute lesson. In the previous exercise, you might have observed that when we get a div, a block level element, the display value of flex that it remained a block level element. What if we want multiple flex containers to display in line with each other? If we didn't want div elements to be block level elements, we would use display inline. Flexbox, however, provides the inline flex value for the display property, which allows us to create flex containers that are also inline elements. So div class container, I'm inside of a flex container. Flex containers, children are flex items. I'm also a flex item 2, and then the container with display inline flex. In the above examples, there are 2 container divs without a width. Each div would stretch the entire width of the page. The paragraphs within each div would also display on top of each other because paragraphs are block level elements. Okay. When we change the value of display property to inline flex, the divs will display in line with each other if the page is wide enough. As we progress through this lesson, we will cover in more detail how flex items are displayed. Notice that in the example above, the size of the flex container is set. Currently, the size of the parent container will override the size of its child elements. If the parent element is too small, the flex items will shrink to accommodate the parent's container size. We'll explain why in a later exercise. I don't know exactly what all this means. I kind of have to read through it. The way my brain works with this coding stuff, because I'm just not familiar with it, I just have to like do it over and over and over again. I'm gonna have to learn it, like probably take the lesson, like finish it and take it over again. Coding's like hard. It's like problem solving, challenging, knowing stuff, and I have to teach myself again how to learn. Hold on, the baby's screaming. Container, width, child, display, inline flex. And so something like this is dependent on that. This is the CSS, the style, and then you have the index. And so if you want to like put words in a paragraph on a page, you put them in the index. But then if you want to style it, you have to use the CSS. So that's why HTML and CSS, 2 different things that work together to create the websites. In the example above, the .child divs will take up more width, 300 pixels, than the container div allows. The child divs will shrink to accommodate the container size. Okay, so in the .container rule set, that's this one, set the display property to inline flex. Got it. Okay, so it changed it from that to that. Next one is justify content. In previous exercises, when we changed the displayed value of the parent containers to flex or inline flex. All of the child elements move towards the upper left corner of the parent container. This is the default behavior. We could specify how flex items spread out from left to right along the main axis. Next one is justify content. In previous exercises, when we display... Okay, that music is still a little bit loud. There we go.
Maybe something like that. We'll try this out for now. All right, inline flex of all the child elements, move to the upper left corner of the parent container. This default behavior, we could specify how they spread out from left to right along the main axis. We will learn more about axes in a later exercise. To position the items from left to right, we can use a property called justify content. Okay. In the example above, we set the value of justify content to flex end. Five commonly used values for justify content: flex start, position in order, start from the left side of an extra space, flex end. Okay, so flex end means they're going to start. Okay, sounds like we're going to do this. They're all justified to the left, and we're going to make a move to the right. Center, space around, space between. Definitions above, no extra space means that margins and borders will be respected. Okay, assign the div element with the ID flex start here. Justify content. So justify content flex start. You won't see any stain changes. Okay, boom. Assign the div element with flex end with the property of flex end. So let's see what happens. Boom. Puts it over to the right. And let's put this one in the middle. Got it. And then we'll do oops. Doing something on their screen. Let me put the YouTube over here. And then we'll put the YouTube there. Good. Okay, throw a thing in the chat, and then got the two monitors going on. All right, good. Assign the div element with the ID space around with the justify content with the property of space around. So how do we do space around? Space around. Look at that. I actually like this visual. This helps me like get the concept. Space between. Justify content, space. Justify content, space between. Why didn't it not like that? I must have messed something up. Okay, space between, space around. Cool. Align items. In the previous exercise, you learned how to justify the content of a flex container from left to right across the page. It is also possible to align flex items vertically within the container. The align items property makes it possible to space flex items vertically. The align items
property makes it possible to space flex items vertically. The container align items baseline. In the example above, the align items property is set to baseline. This means that the baseline of the content of each item will be aligned. Below are 5 commonly used values for the aligned item: flex start, flex end, center, baseline, stretch. These 5 values will tell how to behave along the cross axis of the parent container. Might be unfamiliar with the min height and max height properties, but you have used height and width before. Min height, max height, min width, max width are properties that ensure an element is at least a certain size or at most a certain size. Okay, we're gonna see the 5 values in action. Let's do it. Assign the div element with the flex start. And align items property. Flex start. Okay, that didn't change anything. And flex end. So I don't know the difference between what we did before. Align items. This sets it to baseline. In the previous exercise, you learned how to justify the content of a flex container from left to right, okay? It's possible to align flex items vertically within the container. So I think that's what I'm doing here. The align items. Okay, so I'm changing stuff from left to right to vertically. Okay, and then with center, let's see what happens. So I moved it, flex start, flex end, center. Let's move this to baseline. Okay. And then we need, take a look at the element under stretch at the bottom of the page. Now the left, center, and dot right rule set here, change the height property to min height and observe what happens to these elements. Min height. Okay. Flex grow. In exercise 3, we learned that all flex items shrink proportionally when the flex container is too small. However, if the parent container is larger than necessary, then the flex items will not stretch by default. The flex grow property allows us to specify if items should grow to fill a container and also which items should grow proportionally more or less. So if the parent container is larger than necessary, then the flex items will not stretch. Okay, so we're making these things grow. In the example above, the dot container has a display value of flex, so it's 3 child divs we position next to each other. If there's additional space in the container div, in this case if it's wider than 300, why is it if it's wider than 300? The flex items will grow to fill it because it's flex. Okay. The dot center div will stretch twice as much as the dot side devs. Okay, so I've got container, side, center, and I'm gonna make these ones grow. For example, if there were 60 additional pictures of
pixels of space, the center div would absorb 30 pixels, and the side divs would absorb 15 pixels each. If a maxed width is set for an element, it will not grow larger than that, even if there is more space for it to absorb. All of the previous properties we've learned are declared on flex containers, the parent elements. This property, flex grow, is the first we've learned that is declared on flex items. Okay. I kind of don't know what all this stuff means. I kind of just learn by doing stuff. So I sort of like read through it, and it's actually why I wanted to do a live stream, because I can just sort of talk to myself and it's not as weird. And I just have to like talk through it. Because if I'm reading through this in my head, or if I get distracted, or if I'm like holding the baby or something, I just can't like learn it. So, you know, and also I don't like being on live stream and not getting stuff. Makes me feel like foolish. So this is actually like a self like masochistic way of like punishing myself, like, get it, don't look like an idiot on the live stream. But you know, at the end of the day, nobody cares, unless people find it interesting. Then that's like a positive thing. But anyway, so assign the dot top side and top center and flex grow value of 1. Stretch and shrink the browser. Okay, so let's find top side, and I want to give it a flex grow of 1. Stretch and shrink the browser. Did you add flex grow to the top side and top center? No, I only did it for top side. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Assign the top side and top center to flex grow. Okay. Assign middle center and flex grow value of 1. Assign a bottom side and a flex grow value of 1. And a bottom center, a flex grow value of 2. So it's stretching at different rates. Flex shrink. The flex shrink property can be used to specify which elements will shrink. They shrink when the flex container was too small, even though we had not declared the property. It's because the default value of flex shrink is 1. However, flex items do not grow unless the flex grow property is declared, because the default value of flex grow is 0. In the example above, the dot center div will shrink twice as much as the ones on the side, because there's 2 versus 1. Margins are unaffected. Keep in mind, minimum and maximum widths will take precedence over flex grow and flex shrink. As with flex grow and flex shrink, only will be employed if the parent container is too small and the browser isn't adjusted. Adjust the top side. The flex, that's hard to say, flex shrink value of 2. Stretch and shrink the browser. Okay. Assign the middle side
flex shrink value of 0. How do the middle ones contain the small ones? No, I didn't do that right. Middle flex shrink. Okay, shrinks way faster. Assign the dot bottom center div a flex shrink of 2. Okay. So it's 2. Flex basis. In the previous two exercises, the dimensions of the divs were determined by height and width of the set with CSS. Another way of specifying the width of a flex item is with the flex basis property. Flex basis allows us to specify the width of an item before it stretches or shrinks. Cool. In style.css, the grow side, add a flex basis of 60 pixels. Flex basis. In the same rule, add a flex grow of 1. In the grow center rule, add a flex grow property with a value of 3. All right, that's 25 minutes. I'm going to take a 5-minute break and be right back. I'm just going to go walk outside. What's the best way to do this? It's the Insta360. There we go.
I like absolutely love that it says the next Pomodoro will go better. Like no matter what, I know it's gonna be. I get that little pop-up. So let's go for longer just because I felt like I could go for longer. So let's start it for 50 minutes. Let's do a 5-minute break. Let's see. We just did 25 minutes. Yeah, let's go 40 minutes. 40 minutes, 5-minute break, and then after a while, we'll auto. And then we'll set up, that takes us till 11. Takes us till noon. We'll do 3 of them. Let's do it. "40 minutes, here we go. All right, in the .shrink side, it's here, add a flex basis with the value of 300 pixels. In the same rule, add a flex shrink with a property value of property value of 3. Okay, and it is doing stuff. In the .shrink center, add a flex property flex shrink property with a value of 2, and add a flex basis (150 pixels). Now shrink and stretch the browser, and it changes. Very cool. Flex. The flex property provides a convenient way for specifying how elements shrink and stretch. The flex property allows you to declare flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis all in one line. The flex property is different from the flex value used for the display property. All elements with class big will grow twice as much as elements with class small. Keep in mind, this doesn't mean big items will be twice as small as small items. Twice as big as small items. They'll just take up more of the extra space. 3 properties in one line. We use the flex basis to declare the values of flex grow, shrink, and basis in that order in one line. In the example above, we use the flex property to declare flex grow and shrink, but not flex basis. There's no way to set only the flex shrink and basis using 2 values, so you'd have to use 3. The browser to the right has 2 flex containers. Each with 3 flex items. In styles.css, examine the values for each of these items. Notice that the flex grow and flex basis are set for the blue divs. Stretch the browser to increase its width. Observe that once the top outer divs reach 100 pixels, they begin to grow faster than the top center div. Also notice that once the bottom div reaches 100 pixels wide, it begins to grow faster than the outer divs. Cool. Now shrink the browser and notice that other things change. Awesome. Top side, all 3 values, flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis are assigned individually. Refactor them to be declared in one line using the shorthand flex property. Okay, in that case, flex to 100 pixels. Flex to 100 pixels. Boom, boom, boom. Yep, top center. All 3 values for flex grow, flex shrink. Refactor them to be declared in one line. 1350. 1350 pixels. In the bottom side, 1275. 1275 pixels. To 100 pixels. Flex wrap. Sometimes we don't want our content to shrink to fit its container. Instead, we might want flex items to move to the next line when necessary. This can be declared with the flex wrap property. The flex wrap property can accept 3 values: wrap, wrap reverse, and no wrap. Add a flex wrap property with a value of wrap. Flex wrap wrap oh, that's kind of cool. See, guys, all this is for, I mean, it's pretty easy to like code a website and put stuff on there, but when people like change the landscape or they go on their phone or they use a different size monitor or different, you know, the borders are different. Like you want it to be able to wrap around and look nicer. And so this is the lessons I'm learning here is how to make a responsive website. And in the future, I'm going to make like websites. You know, all I want to do is make a website for myself, but if I help other people, it's a value add of here, I can make your website look a certain way and I can go in there and code it and make it just more responsive. And sometimes people appreciate that. So I could, you know, monetize that skill in some sort, but really I'm just learning for myself right now. Inside the no wrap rule set, add a flex wrap property with the value of no wrap. Flex wrap no wrap wrap. And then inside the reverse, reverse. Flex wrap, wrap reverse. Okay. So what's happening there? That top one wraps around, the second one doesn't, and the third one is weird. Okay, it puts 5 at the top. So inside the container rule set, add a justify content property with the value of space around. And what does that do? Okay, it puts space around it. Awesome. Now we're going to align content. Now that elements can wrap to the next line, we have multiple rows of flex items within the same container. Align items top to bottom. Align items for aligning elements with a single row. If a flex container has multiple rows of content, we can use align content to space the rows from top to bottom. Below are some of the more commonly used align content. Flex start, all rows position the top of the parent with no extra space. Flex end, position at the bottom. Center, space between, evenly from the bottom container, space around, and stretch. So in this example, there are 4 flex items inside of a flex container. The flex items are set to be 150 pixels, but the parent container is only 400 pixels. This means that no more than 2 elements can be displayed in line. Okay. This means that the other 2 elements are wrapped to the next line. There'll be 2 rows of divs inside the flex container. The align content property is set to the value of space around, which means the 2 rows of divs will be evenly spaced from top to bottom of the parent container with equal space before the first row and after the second, with double space between the rows. Note the align content property is declared on flex containers.
So in style.css, inside the flex start, add an align content property with the value of flex start to position the rows at the top of the parent container. So that put it at the top. Inside the flex end rule set, add an align content with the value of flex end. And then add the align content with the value of center. And then align content with the space between. And space around. Okay, I'm not really changing that, so that puts them up there, puts them there, puts them center, puts space between them, puts space around them, and stretches them. Inside the left, center, right rule set, change the height property to min height. What happens to the flex items in the stretch container? That happens. Flex direction. Up to this point, we've only covered flex items that stretch and shrink horizontally and wrap vertically. As previously stated, flex containers have two axes, a main axis and a cross axis. By default, the main axis is horizontal, the cross axis is vertical. The main axis is used to position flex items with the following property: justify content, flex wrap, flex grow, flex shrink. The cross axis is used to position flex items with the following properties: align items, align content. The main axis and cross axis are interchangeable. We could switch them with the flex direction property. If we add the flex direction property and give a value of column, the flex items will be ordered vertically, not horizontally. In this example above, the 5 divs will be positioned in a vertical column. All these divs could fit in one horizontal row. However, the column value tells the browser to stack the divs on top of one another. As explained above, properties like justify content will not behave the way they did in previous examples. The flex direction property can accept 4 values: row, row reverse, column, column reverse. Let's investigate. The flex direction property is declared on flex containers. Inside the row set, flex. Oh, where'd our music go? Need more music. Let's do best Studio Ghibli songs. Hell yeah. Boom. Inside the row reverse rule set, add a flex direction property with the value of row reverse. Okay. What are we doing here? Adding column. And then column reverse.
and then change the height property. So first of all, let's just see what this did. This put it there, put them reverse, put them up and down, and then put them up and down from the bottom. Change the height property of the container to be max height. Remember to stretch and shrink the browser. Okay. Inside the dot container rule set, at the align items property with the value of center. Inside the container rule set, add a justify content property with the value of space around. Justify content. Justify. With the value of space around. Inside the box rule set, add flex grow property. 1. Which direction do the elements grow? Just grew in both. Flex flow, like the shorthand flex property. The shorthand flex flow property is used to declare both the flex wrap and flex direction properties in one line. So here, flex wrap, flex column. We take 2 lines to accomplish what can be done, so we could just put flex flow and do column wrap. So in the row reverse, set the flex flow to have a direction of row reverse and wrap. Do that in one line. In the column rule set, set the flex flow property to that. No, to column and wrap. Cool. Nested flex boxes. So far we had multiple flex boxes on the same page to explore flex item positioning. It's also possible to position flex containers inside of one another. In the example above, a div with 3 smaller images will display from top to bottom on the left of the page. There's also a div with 1 large image that will display on the right side of the page. The left div has a smaller flex spaces, but stretches to fill out more extra space. Inside the dot main rule set, add the display property with the value of flex. Do I have to do inline flex? Can I just do flex?
What did that do? Okay, just put it up there. Inside the dot main rule set, add an align property with a value of center. Cool. Justify content with the value of space around. Okay. In the container rule set, add a display property with a value of flex. Inside the container rule set, add a flex direction property. With a value of column. And then inside the container rule set, add a justify content property with a value of center. Inside the container rule set, add an align items property with a value of center. And then I gotta repeat that for the child elements. Got it. Okay, reviewing the Flexbox. You should be proud of yourself. I am. Thank you, CodeAcademy. You have learned the most important properties of Flexbox. It's an art and a science. You can use it to laying out multiple elements into a piece of cake. You know everything necessary to begin using it in your own projects. And then I think all this is useful. I learned a lot. I don't know how I'm going to apply it, but if I learned it one time, that's important. And then now I can, it is free, smiley. You can do CodeAcademy for free, but I am using the paid. So it is free, CodeAcademy, but I'm using the paid version to do this HTML CSS course. I paid for it. It's actually a funny story. I was paying for it and then using it month to month, canceling it, doing it, doing it normally. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just go for it. And I did the whole year. And then I used it for a bunch of months, but didn't do it as much as I was planning to do it. And it was like $120 or whatever. And then I let it go for a couple months. And then the day I thought of it, I checked and I had gotten charged for a year, like the day before or that day. And so I was like, well, I might as well just commit because I have this until September 20 of next year. So I better just use these courses. And, it's, in some ways I was like pissed because it's like $120 down the drain for something I'm not going to use. But then I thought about it. Let's flip it. Let's just go for it. And this is I've got millions of things on lists of things I want to accomplish, and you just got to start going down the checklist. So no, it's not free, but yeah, we're doing it. So let's apply a few of the properties you've learned to arrange one section of the web page in the browser to the right. All the images are inside the 3 columns, and the 3 column divs are inside of the one large div called cards. Inside the cards rule set, add a display property with the value of flex. Now inside the .cards rule set the flex wrap property to have a value of wrap. Inside the .cards rule set the justify content property of a value of space around. And in the .col display inline flex. Okay, it's changing stuff. And then in that rule set the flex direction to have a volume property of column. In the call rule set the justify content space between. Oh, it looks much nicer. Boom. Earning that XP. Flexbox to-do app. Check out the project tasks. This is not exam. Get the AI generated hints. Start the project. Usually what I do with here, this is kind of my strategy, is most of the time I have no idea what I'm doing. So I end up watching the video. Like I try it a little bit, but I usually get stuck at like step 1, 2, or 3, like early on. And so I end up watching the YouTube video and I just follow along. And I don't know if maybe you guys are smarter than me, but like my brain, I have to like do something 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before I'm like, okay, now I get it. So the first time I don't try to beat myself up too much, but we'll see what happens. So in this to-do app, in this project, you're going to follow step-by-step instructions to fix a to-do web app. All of the HTML, most of the CSS is intact. However, a few Flexbox values are missing. Oh, we just did those. Cool. In order to complete this project, you must know how to set an element's Flexbox properties. I do. We recommend that you review our Flexbox lessons before beginning. All right, we just did. The website's existing index.html are displayed in the text editor to the right. So index, the CSS. If you get stuck, check out the project walkthrough. I definitely will. Start off by turning some of the elements into the flex and inline flex containers. Turn the elements in the container elements with the class square into flex containers. Let's see. So I don't even know what that's asking. Turn elements with the class container and elements of the class square into flex containers. To do this, add the display property with either flex or inline flex. So if I add display flex into square and container, and then
I need to turn the elements with the class weak. Where's that? Weak. And elements with the class reminders into inline flex containers. And then reminders. Boom. The elements inside the new inline flex containers should grow to fill the container. This is accomplished using the flex grow property. Elements of the class weak with the class weak will get a flex grow property with a value of 3. Reminders will get a flex value of 2. We want the flex items with the class weak to be ordered vertically instead of horizontally. Flex direction. With the value that orders the items in a column. Like that. Now with the row, flex wrap. Do I do row? Get a hint. Let's see what happens. For task 4, you need to ensure the items of the class row can move to the next line with the container when it comes to the flex wrap property. Okay? Set its value to allow items. Flex wrap. The items within the class row also need some space. Add a justify content. So we justify the content that adds space around them. Okay, what adds space? So with task 5, get a hint for task 5. Justify content with space around. That's what we need. Space around. Oh. Space. Space around. So that gave me space. Furthermore, the items with the class square need to be centered. So where's square? So here we want to change this into center. And so what I think this is going to do is put all of this, I'm not sure exactly, like the square, it's going to put them in center. So let's see what it does. Honestly, I didn't see a difference. the dot square rule set. Add a justify content with the value that centers the items around the container. So I believe I did that. Justify content center. I think that's task 5. Oh, I might get through this without doing the video, but I did get the hints. Those are helpful. Lastly, the elements of the class row and the elements of the class square need to be aligned vertically. Okay? And then within row, we need to align items vertically. So that centers the items with the value that centers the items inside the container would just be center. Let's get a hint for task 6. So dot row, dot square, align items. So align items. I just don't know this last one. Let's check the video.
Hello, my name is Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
And now we come and we take a look and see what our layout looks like. Justify content accompanying yellow squares. That all of the items inside of container will be flex items. So we start with task 1, and with done we're going to flex. We come into our CSS, into our style CSS sheet, and we begin by finding container. We come to line 36 of the page, we hit return, and we type. We add our CSS display, flex.
Here, I'm gonna watch that on YouTube.
Semicolon, and there we have it.
Exit from the full screen.
We continue,
Put this over
we
the other
find
screen.
The element square, and we're going to add another line of CSS, another property. So we begin, we add the property display, and we add the value flex, semicolon. We hit save, and we have added another line of CSS to our project. Quickly,
Okay.
we look at square, and we can see that these blue and
that's
these
40
yellow
minutes.
boxes that make up the weeks.
So I'm gonna pause this, and we're just gonna figure out this problem, and then we're gonna take our break.
Are square. They're that
I'm gonna take my break. It's not really a us thing, but because I'm streaming, I'm saying we.
Display value of week and reminders to inline flex. So why inline flex and not flex? Well, we can compare flex to a block layout here and reminder and week. For we come to the class week, we start a new line of CSS and we type
Flex display
colon, inline dash flex semicolon.
Got it.
We find the class and we hit
So for
save.
reminders,
Now that we've completed task 1, let's take a look
Inline
and see
flex.
what our to do or not to do layout.
Got it.
Need to fear scroll. We can
She's on step
we're gonna
2.
see what happens. We find the class of reminders, and this time we set the
And then on
flex
week,
grow value to 2. We type
flex grow 3.
flex dash grow. Find the class of reminders, and this time we set the flex grow value to 2. We type flex dash grow colon 2 semicolon. We hit save, and then let's take a look at our layout. What we see is that through setting the set flex grow value to 3, the week squares are smaller, and by setting the flex grow property for reminders to 2, the reminders are, well, the options tell us all about it. We could set flex direction to column, as we're going to do here. We can set it to row or layout. Flex wrap, as we know, is another property of Flexbox. Semicolon allows us to align our flex items. So here we're going to set the justify content of row to space around to begin, And then we're going to go from square, go to square, and set that one to center. Now, justify content. We have a lot of different options. We could do center. What does center do? Center,
This is what I care about. Justify
or
content.
align
No, it's the next
items
one.
in the center. Space around is going to space our items out evenly. We have other options too.
Okay.
We could do flex start, the flex end the lines.
Too much
Find
talking.
The class count. We type
Justify
save,
content space
and then
around.
we look for our next
Okay, so for the row, justify content space around. Yeah.
class, square. Here we're going to set square to center. We come to a new line of our CSS. We hit return, go to the last line, hit return.
Justify
Again,
content
we
center.
hit save layout
Got
looks
it.
like. So we know that for even speak, and we can see in blue square. We've completed tasks 1 through 5. We'll move on to task 6. In
Okay.
task 6,
Task
we're gonna
6.
take a look at align items, at the property of align items. Align items will align our flex items vertically. And by doing so, we can really ensure that we are creating a responsive design that will render on different monitors and devices. So for this task, we're going to set row to center and square to center. And again, by doing so, we are ensuring that these elements will always align in the center of the device on which they're being viewed. We come to our styles.css and we find the class of row and we set
Align items center.
colon center
Nice.
semicolon. We hit save. We move on.
We move
find
on.
the element of square, and again we type align dash items colon.
Okay, I didn't do this part.
center,
Align
semicolon.
items
We hit save one more
center.
time.
That's what I
We
was
can
missing, I
Mark
believe.
task 6 complete and take a look at our flex box layout. Congratulations, you have successfully designed a flexible, responsive
we did it.
layout with Flexbox, and you have worked with
Great. Feels good. Click next. Project complete. And before we start the next one, I'm going to take my 5-minute break. And then I'm going to change the music too when I come back. Hello? Whatever. Resuming. Why is my F11 not working? Whatever. F11 doesn't work. That's fine. Be right back.
Be right there. I'm finishing up my yogurt.
Okay, back at it. Let's keep it moving. Stop, reset, start again. Here we go, 40 minutes. And then here, let's choose something different. Let's go to playlists. All right, let's do some zoo. All right, guys, if you're still with me, thanks for watching. Thanks for chilling. Let's start this. Build a website with HTML, CSS, and GitHub. The objective. In this project, you will create a fictional teen shop website on your own computer. Awesome. We will provide a design spec and an image assets to help you along the way. A design spec is an image of a web page outlined with all of its CSS properties and values. They are usually developed by a designer as a source of instructions for a web developer. This project assumes that you will be able to reproduce the basic HTML and CSS with little guidance. We'll see about that. The images and design spec you need to complete the project are listed below. Logo. Okay. Click here. All right. So we're going to be doing all this. Nice. So this is something that I just need to do an exercise like this, like 5 times. I need 5 different things. I need a video next to me and just need to do it over and over and over again. So I put that on the other screen. I don't know if I need to open all these. The project is intended to be completed on your own computer. The resources above will help you get the final outcome. There's no single correct way to complete this project, so experiment and have fun. What does the hint say? When looking over the design spec, we noticed the content needed, the layout of the page, and other styles. There are numerous ways to create this page and make it match the spec as close as possible. One of the styles noted on the design spec, opacity 0.9, is optional. It'll be up to you to decide whether to use a style or not. Opacity can make high contrast colors like white on black look softer and more subtle. Not subtle, subtle. When adding opacity, we suggest adding it to your main container, not the navigation section, but remember to ask yourself, do I like the look of this? Cool. Wait, that was it? No, it wants me to do that. Okay, so how do I go back? Send you 1% complete. Use syllabus. I'm gonna look that up to see if I can find a video about how to do this one. We're gonna do this project. Cozy CodeAcademy. 12 minutes long. 2 years ago, 10 months ago.
Today I'm going to work on the off-platform project Cozy. This is how the page currently looks like, and this is how they want the page to look like after adding HTML and CSS. So first we're going to create an HTML and CSS file on VS Code. I'm going to type
Alright, gotta do VS Code.
Turn on match begin, and the title of this page is the Cozy.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there.
After the title, we're going to link this to CSS. First part of the page that we're going to work on is the header. Here on the header,
File.
we have the logo on the left, and we have mission, feature key, and locations. Let's create header and create a class. To header is going to be called flex container. Next, let's add the image of the logo. So I'm going to add the link of the image. I'm going to close image tag. I'm going to create nav. Nav has a purpose to provide navigation links either within the current document or to other documents. Mission feature key, I'm going to close container. Next, create header, logo on the left.
All right, so here's my problem, guys. All this is good. If I open up VS Code, I need to do this part. So I have VS Code here, and if I do new file, HTML, create new file. Dropbox. Open walkthrough. How do I do this? Index? I think I have to do index. So I'm already like stuck here at the beginning. Select a language, HTML. Or fill with template, HTML doc. All right, progress. HTML language. Do I have to add this? When I tell you I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I just don't know what this means. UTF-8.
Header and
Should I just copy what she has here? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't know how else to do it. So meta HTTP equiv equals X UA compatible content equals IE equals edge, close the parentheses, meta name equals view port, the content equals width equals device width, comma initial scale equals 1.0. And then title, the T cozy. I think I know what that one means. That's the title, right? And then link equals style sheet, href equals style.css. Okay, what I believe this part's doing is it links the HTML to the style.css. So I need to create that one, but I'm naming it here. And the type equals text slash CSS. So got that part done. And then head, body, header. All right, let's follow along.
Create a class to header. It's going to be called flex container. Next, let's add the image of the logo. So I'm going to add the link of the image. I'm going to close image tag. I'm going to create nav. Nav has a purpose to provide navigation links either within the current document or to other documents. So we're going to use the span element. Span is useful for styling and formatting the page. Next, I'm going to create an anchor. This is for a link, which is going to take us later on the page to mission, feature T, and locations. Next session we're going to work on is the main content container. We're going to create a div, a class of main. But first, let's start adding some information to our CSS. Nav has a purpose to provide navigation header, the logo on the left, and we have mission, feature key, and locations. Let's create header and create a class to header. It's going to be called flex container. Next, let's add the image of the logo. So I'm going to add the link of.
So I'm just sort of going to blindly follow. How do I make this like pop up? Okay, header. Header class equals image equals source, and then I'm gonna have to get that image.
I'm going to close image tag. I'm going to create nav. Nav has a.
All right, guessing, but can I just copy that? Or do I have to save these images? Content, she's got it on there.
Purpose to provide navigation links either within the current document or to other documents. So we're going to use the span element. Span is useful for styling and formatting the page. Next, I'm going to create an anchor. This is for a link, which is going to take us later on the page to mission, feature T, and locations. Next session we're going to work.
Okay, hold on. It's I just got a pop-up that doesn't like the music from another creator. That makes sense. So we'll do different music. We'll do this music for people that care. I don't want this to be muted, but if it is, so be it. I'm trying to work. All right, what else is she doing? The image, the nav. Okay. And then span. A href equals mission hashtag mission. And then do that. Open the parentheses, or closing it with the A, and then closing span. href mission. And then create another span element. Okay, and then create a href equals featured hashtag featured t. Close that parentheses, type in featured t, and then ending that, and another span element, and that's going to be a href equals locations. And then locations. So I believe what this is doing is putting the image in there, calling the class a container, Lex container, and then these span elements will be these different images. That's what I think is going on. But I don't know.
Content container. We're going to create div.
Okay, after header.
Of main. But first, let's start adding some information to your CSS. I'm going to add these universal styles first. So we're going to create a body selector and add the universal styles. For the anchor elements, the color is going to be seashell. Let's save and check how our page looks like so far.
Okay, she's going to check to see how the page looks like so far.
H2, H3, and H4 elements.
But I'm not ready because I got to create my style.css. So does that mean I open up a new text file and type CSS? Select a language, CSS, right? Style.css. Yo, this is hard. I think it's just regular CSS, right? And then
we're going to have margin of 0 and padding of 10 pixels. So we're going to create a body class to header going to be called. On
So
the
she
title
always
of
had
this
style.css in there.
the T code.
So why don't I?
After the title, we're going to link this to CSS. The first part of the page that we're going to work on is the header. Here on the header, we have the logo on the left, and we have mission, feature key, and locations. Let's create header and create a class. The header is going to be called flex container. Next, let's add the image of the logo. So I'm going to add the link of the image. I'm going to close image tag. I'm going to create nav. Nav has the purpose to provide navigation links either within a code document or to other documents. So we're going to use the span element. Span is useful for styling and formatting the page. Next, I'm going to create a anchor, which is for a link, which is going to take us div class of main. So first, let's start adding some information to our CSS. I'm going to add these universal styles first.
Okay, I'm gonna add the universal styles first.
Body selector and add the universal styles.
Okay. Let's just copy the code. Universal styles. And then body.
For the anchor elements, the color is going to be
Whoa, how'd you do that so fast?
universal styles. For the anchor elements,
What?
the color is going to be seashell.
How'd you do that so fast? Like anchor elements? Anchor elements? Anchor. I just don't know. Margin 0. Font family. Helvetica. Sans serif. Color is seashell. Background color is black. Font size 22 pixels. Text align center. And the next one is A. Color.
Let's save and check how our page looks like so far.
So I have autosave.
For our H,
So how do I see what it looks like? Close. Close. Terminal. Run. What's it called? Sidebar, source control panel. Would it be terminal? No. Because I want this to display like the web page. Oh, this is hurting my brain. How do we do this? Run? Go? View? Command palette? Oh, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to view it. Is there like a run? So we have to save it. So T-Cozy website. And I want to get this to display.
Two H3 and H4 elements. So we're going to create a body selector and add the universal styles. For the anchor elements, the color is going to be
I think the video just cut. She just did it real fast.
seashell. Let's save and check how our page looks like so far.
Okay, save and check.
For our H,
So I got to figure out how she got that. So how do we get this where I can run it and look at it? Go to file. Do I need to save this code onto my desktop? Like, or onto, like, my file? Dang it. I got another warning for this audio. Okay. I thought if it's on, like, YouTube, I'd be safe, but it doesn't like it. What about Trap It in Japan? No, let's just do some ambient music. Alright. Don't cringe too hard. I love this shit. ASAP. After going through so many challenges in life, you have acquired an armored mind. Stoic ambience. Hell yeah. So if I get flagged for that, we'll change it. Okay, back to it. How do I get this? I've done it before. So I've done it before. If you open a file, website design, dev projects, web projects, test site.
CodeAcademy projects, dev projects, resources. Okay, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Terminal? No, I already tried this. I don't know. So, choose your theme. Code with extensions. Let's learn the fundamentals. Oh, the baby's crying too. I'll be right back. Dev projects. Connect to. So help. Let's do a video tutorial. And let's do getting started. And let's watch this video. See what we can learn.
This is Visual Studio Code, a lightweight but powerful code editor. In the next few minutes, I'm going to start from scratch so you can follow along, and we're going to write and execute some code in JavaScript, Python, and HTML, and along the way explore the features of this code editor. Now, once installed and launched, the first thing that I want to do is show you how to open a folder to set your workspace, which you can just do by going to this folder icon here and clicking open, or you can use this shortcut, and in my case that's Command O. Now I know that I want my workspace to be in my documents folder under getting started, so all I have to do is highlight that folder and click open. On the left hand corner you'll see under Explorer my folder name, getting started, and any files that I have under there, which is currently none. Now that we've got a folder open, let's take a quick look at the editor so you know the purpose of some of these buttons and sections. On the far left is the activity bar, and the first icon is for the Explorer to see your folders and files. Below is a magnifying glass to search, find, and replace text in files across your whole workspace. Then there's source control to track changes in code with Git and GitHub. Next is run and debug to execute code and debug it using breakpoints. The extension marketplace to add additional features to our code editor, and then a couple of icons for your account and to manage settings. But at the very top center we have our command palette, which you can go to view and select it as your first option or use the shortcut. The command palette is very important as it is the control center for all commands in Visual Studio Code. At the bottom of the screen is the status bar, where on the left we'll see a number of errors or warnings, and on the right the current line number and programming language. Right above that is a panel for output or debug information, problem details, and an integrated terminal. So let's go ahead and create a new file. I can go over here and select new file, or hit Command N, and quickly notice at the bottom right hand corner it says plain text, but once I start typing console.log, open parentheses, immediately it notices it's JavaScript. And at this point, once I start writing anything else, IntelliSense is going to kick in. I write CON, and it's like, oh, you want to write confirm? Console? It's trying to predict exactly what I want to write. I hit the dot, the letter L.
So to me, this is like helpful because it tells me that VS Code, if I start to type in HTML, it recognizes it and it will help with like finishing the thought. And then so if I use CSS, so as soon as I created both these pages here, it now knows what type, like what I'm doing in here. And then here, it just wants me to know the CSS. So I've got that part down. That's good. The problem I'm having troubles with is the install live server extension. Hey, I'll try it. Let's do that real quick. Live server extension. So that's an extension. So live preview. Is that, I think that's what I have.
Rizwan Chang, thank you for that comment. Server extension. Something like this. Browse preview extension. Okay. Live server. And then I just have to like activate this somehow. Go. Oh yeah, I installed it. Sorry, this is probably frustrating to watch, but I just don't know. Don't know what I don't know. Full screen, Zen mode, run extensions. Show preview. Did I do it? I think this is it. Go into extensions and search for the live cert. Extensions, live server. So I got it. I think this is what I was trying to do, which is what this person's doing.
Two H3 and H4 elements. We're going to have margin seashell. Let's save and check how our page looks like so far. For our H2, H3, and H4 elements, we're going to have margin of 0 and padding of 10 pixels.
I think you helped me.
Okay, so let's
Appreciate
start styling our header now.
Okay, let's start styling our header now.
We're going to
Okay.
go to CSS and select our Flex Container class. To call a class, you select dot and the name of that class. So first thing we're going to do is
So, got it. And then get there. And we want to, like you said,
our header. Okay, so let's start styling our header now.
okay, that's the end. So I should take a break. I'm going to pause it. And we're just going to try to keep going over for a little bit. Div class equals main.
We're going to go to CSS and select our Flex Container.
Flex container. So let's take that and we're going to make this into
Class. To call a class, you select dot and the name of that class. So first thing we're going to do is set that to display flex. The flex property
Display.
makes it easier to position the elements.
Flex.
We're going to justify content center and flex wrap, which allows enabling the control direction in which lines are stacked. For the header, we're going to do position fixed. Lines are stacked.
Justify content center. Okay, why are we doing that? What are we doing? The header, justify content, flex container, main content, div, class main. So for the header, flex container. It's the fixed header. I'm not sure. I don't know enough. Like, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to change here. So I'm just sort of blindly following the video.
For the header, we're going to do position fixed, height, which allows enabling the control direction in which lines are stacked.
Okay.
For the
flex
header,
wrap.
we're going to do position fixed, height of 6 to 9 pixels, background color is black, the border bottom has a seashell color, and the text is centered. First thing we're going to do is set the width to 100%. We're going to
So we're back on the header section, right? Oh,
set
my
the
brain's...
position to fixed, Z index shell color, and the text is centered. First thing we're going to do is set the width to...
What are we on? We're on HTML. And why doesn't this say index.html? No, are we in style? I don't know. Why? And then how did she add all these so quickly? I don't understand.
To 100%. We're going to set the position to fixed, Z index of 1, height 6 to 9 pixels, background color is black, border bottom.
Okay, I'm going to take my break now. I'll see you guys in a bit. back at it. Stop. Start. Let's keep it going. Okay, T-Cozy project. So I don't have to do this part, but I kind of want to bang my head against the wall until I get a little bit of progress. I've got the flex container.
So first thing we're going to do is set that to display flex. The flex property makes it easier to position the elements. We're going to justify content center.
Justify
and
content
flex
center, got
wrap, which allows enabling the control direction in which lines are stacked. For the header, we're going to do position fixed.
Fixed header.
Height of 69 pixels.
Okay.
Background color is black. The border bottom has a seashell color, and the text is centered. First thing we're going to do is set the width to 100%.
So this is the header section. Space header section. Boom. Header. Width 100%.
Then we're going to set the position to fixed. Z index of 1. Height 69 pixels. Background color is black.
Okay, width fixed. Z index 1. Height background
Border bottom we're going to set to 1 pixel.
So the height is 69 pixels. Width is 0. The background color is black. Border bottom 1 pixel.
Solid with the seashell color, and we're going to align items center.
Okay.
With the seashell color.
Solid seashell. And the next one.
And we're going to align items center. If we hit save, now we can see that the bottom showed up. And now we're going to style the header image. The header image logo has a height of 50 pixels. So we're going to do height 50.
So align items center. Now, what if we did is peak? No, I want preview, right? Preview. Do I have to do preview here? Preview. Show preview. So that so far has not worked. I don't know if that's my error or not. Okay. Header image height 50
pixels and padding left of 10 pixels. So far this is how our page looks like, except this image is not working. Oh, it's missing the H. Let's save and see if it works now.
So she's got that on there. So that's what I'm gonna try to get.
Okay, so except this 50 pixels for the image, bottom items solid, border bottom. We're gonna set to 1. Going to align items, and now we're going to style the header image. The header image logo has a height of.
So mine doesn't look
of
like that
50
yet.
pixels. So we're gonna do height 50 pixels and
Header image 50 pixels.
padding left of
Padding left 10 pixels.
10 pixels. So far, this is how our page looks like, except this image is not working. Oh, it's missing the H. Let's save and see if it works now.
So far, I don't have that. What if I saved? So I gotta save this one. Okay, so it's because it's that one. So over here, the source is equal to that, right? Probably not right.
Okay, so we have, let's say,
So source equals, and then that's the URL. Image equals, no, image src. The source is equal to that. So that's not working for me yet. What if I saved this image? Save image as. Save it under desktop, website design, CodeAcademy projects in October, image T Cozy logo, and then doc type equals okay, if I do that like there, the image doesn't pop up. But the source is equal to, like, if I put that in like that. I have no idea.
save and see if it works now.
So see if it works now. It does not work.
Okay, so we have the logo and we have the menu here. Next, let's go to the nav session.
And I don't know
We
why.
need those texts to the right, so we need mission, feature T, and location. locations all the way to the right. So we're going to do text align right and flex row of 1, which means that every child of the element will set to an equal size inside the container. Let's save. This is how our page looks like so far, except these are too close to each other. So let's select nav.
So a lot of coding's problem solving. And in terms of problem solving, I'm not sure how to solve this problem. And I'm at the point now where I've worked on it for a little bit. It's not working out. I've tried it a few different ways. I may have to save this and hire a coach, like a mentor, and have him walk through with me. So the source, it's just not popping up. I got mission in there, I got featured T, I got featured T, I got locations. I mean, is it worth it to keep going? Even though this part is not working?
Span, display inline block, and create a padding. So those elements.
Okay, nav, span. Display.
Look better.
Inline block. Padding. I don't know what she's gonna do.
20 pixels.
Okay.
So top and bottom are going to be 20 pixels, and left and right are going to be 10 pixels. Let's save.
File, save. It auto saves. So save. And then preview, right?
That looks better.
Okay, why does hers look totally different than mine?
We're all done with the header. Now we're going to go to the next session, which is the mission.
All right. I just don't know how to do it. I don't want to quit. I just don't know. I don't know how to do it. If I use a different, let's try this. All right, let's watch this dude.
Full disclosure up front, I'm not a developer or anything like that. I'm really just at this point in CodeAcademy, and that's literally all I know. So if you have questions and stuff, I probably will not have an answer for you. But the reason I'm making this video is to go over this off-platform tcozy project, because this is the first time with CodeAcademy where there is no solution provided or any way for you to check your work. So what I tried to do was actually like recreate it as close to the design as provided. And the reason for that is because when I was looking online for like solutions or ways to check my work, a lot of people kind of just did their own thing. But I was really curious to see like how close am I to what they were envisioning. So that's what we're going to go over here. And I tried tried to keep it as close to this little mock-up as possible. And I also tried to use Flexbox as much as possible because that was kind of the point. This happens at the end of the Flexbox unit. So with all that out of the way, let's just go ahead and get into it. So I just tried to keep everything as simple as possible. So my folder structure literally just contains the images, the index file, and the style file. And then with the HTML, I was able to do this with 99 lines of code, which is also including some notes and some spaces. And then with the CSS, it was, I think, like 170, let's get the right number, 170 lines of code with even more spaces because there's kind of spaces between all of those various declarations. And the end result of my project ended up looking like this. And if we look at the redline documents, you can see that it's very similar, especially if we go to, I think, just a little bit wider than like 1200. So somewhere in here, we were given a width of 1200 right here for the R mission. And so if I go in here and we kind of do a little inspection, and let's go out of responsive mode and just take this to a little bit wider than 1200, okay, something like that, we can then see that it does look very similar to what they were asking for. So I'll just quickly go through everything. Of course, I'll probably provide a link to download my project if you just want to compare and contrast things. So let's go ahead and jump into the code real quick. So with the HTML, I was just trying to keep everything as simple and straightforward as possible, nothing fancy. So the head is literally just the title and the link to the style sheet. And then with the body, we've obviously broken it down into the various sections. So the navigation bar, this sort of company/mission statement, the T of the month section, the locations section, and the contact us section, which is just this thing, and then the copyright information. So the first thing that you kind of have to tackle, or that might get you into trouble, is the fixed head.
It seems pretty clear. So doc type, HTML, language, English, head. Let's put that over there. What if I just get rid of all this? Yeah, I don't know.
Header, and then kind of the relative positioning off of the fixed header. So for example, you can see here for the main section, the ID was set as mission. And then if we go into the style CSS and we find the mission, you'll see that our position is relative, and then top we've had to set 70 pixels. And I've had to do that for all of the kind of top level portions of the section. So when we get to T of the month, you're going to see basically the exact same thing, position relative, top 70, and then I'm setting an additional margin to give us the spacing in between. The one thing that I couldn't figure out, and it was outside of the scope kind of this assignment, and I think maybe JavaScript is the best solution for this. I tried to use a CSS solution, but it wouldn't work for me, where if I go to the featured T section or the location section or the mission section, it is offset by 70 pixels. So this isn't right. Like, we obviously want it going to here, but when I click it, it drops us down to there. And again, I tried to do a little bit of research in Google searching, and I couldn't figure out a really easy solution to make that work. With locations and mission, it really doesn't matter, but it's still not going to the perfectly or the right position. So really, if I click mission, it shouldn't be dropping at all. And obviously if I hit locations, luckily it's at the bottom, so it doesn't matter. But again, that was the one thing I couldn't solve. So if somebody has a really easy and basic solution to solve that just with CSS, let me know. And yeah, I'll incorporate that in. So with each of the sections as well, I tried to use Flexbox where appropriate. So we can see with the ID of navbar, the navigation area, when we go in here to the nav bar, we have given it a flex. We've aligned items center, so that's the vertical, in this case, the vertical axis, and we've justified the content as space between, which that's going to basically force this hard left, that's going to force the other item hard right. So the items inside of the container, which in this case is going to be this image and then the unordered list. So those are the two item elements, and those are what we'll have to grab when we want to do our margin away from the side. So when we go back in here and we look at nav menu, that is the container that is holding this, and then it's offset, slightly, same thing with the logo and the image, and this is all just based on using this as our guide. One of the cool things with some of these like browser tools is like you can do stuff like play with the flex containers just inside of here. So if you're stuck or you're stumped on something, it's very useful. So let me go back into the nav ID here. This will actually show us. So what's cool is like when I hover over line items and I have it center, you can see that in the browser what that's actually referring to, or you can see what the space between is referring to. So I find that to be really cool and really useful when you're playing with the flex containers and trying to come up with the right solution. And again, you can actually just come in here and you can change stuff like from wrap to no wrap, et cetera, which is really cool. And I didn't know that until after I finished the project, but it would have sped me up when I got stuck. So the one thing that you'll notice that's like a little bit off and a little bit wrong is what happens with the text of all the other headings with the exception of location. So again, I based this off of 1200 pixels, so I wasn't really thinking about what would happen if I narrowed it out more than that. So you can see that in these cases, the headings are all aligning except for locations. And that's because locations, if we look at like the design file, needs to be like centered vertically against this background image. Whereas with something like T of the month, it does.
Okay, it's getting into details I just kind of don't care about right now. I care about the beginning. So
possible, and I also try to use Flexbox as much as possible because that was kind of the point. This happens at the end of the Flexbox unit. So
okay, we're gonna do playback speed is normal, and we're gonna turn the volume down because we are hoping to just capture the code. So if we go here, this open. I'm getting a call. One sec. Okay, back at it. Let's see what's going on with this. Oh, it's like my day off. I still gotta do work stuff. Okay, let's resume it. We've got 20 minutes left. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get this. So doc type HTML, language English, head, and then we're gonna head. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do body. What I'm doing, guys, just to let you guys know, is copying this. So I looked up another video, and I'm just copying this guy's. He said he did this exercise. So when we don't know what we're doing, we're just copy people that have done it before. So got body in there, and within that body we've got the navigation bar. So navigation bar, and then within that we've got nav ID equals nav bar. But then within it, we've got image source equals images tcozy. So I somehow have to link the image to tcozy. So if I copy the image, I'm trying to copy it and put it just directly there, and I hope that works. And then we'll close the parentheses. And then at this point, we could do alt equals, you know, the T cozy logo. And then end that. And UL equals ID equals nav menu list a class equals anchor href equals hashtag mission. I think I'm gonna delete all this because I just don't know what this is. The other person had it, but doesn't make it right. Okay, mission list. href mission So I've already done this part. I don't need to redo this part because I've got it there. So there he put it. She put it in a span. I'm gonna this guy put it in a list. So I still need to do it in a list. But then I've got the A. Okay, whatever. It's literally too complicated. I'm just going to start from scratch. href equals hashtag mission A. I will end the A. Got it? And then from here, we're going to do end the list. Yeah, nice. And starting another list. Boom, boom. So the next one is going to be class. No. That list is over. The next one's going to start a list with A with class equals anchor. But then href is going to say T of the month. Stop. There's too much going on. It's too busy. And also, this needs to be over here. T of month, and that, and then featured T. T, closing the A, closing the list, okay, after mission, that's over. So now I need to start a new one. And then to close that one, I need to put it down here, which I did. Good. Good, 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 good. List. Okay, within the list, we want A, class equaling anchor, but then we want to href it, and that has to equal the locations selection. But then that's the locations. And then we end the A and the list. Good. Good. That looks good. And go here and we're closing the loop on the list. Where do we start that? After body, navigation bar, nav ID, UL, and then end the UL. Let's just read this real quick. The UL element represents a list of items where the order of the items is not important. That is, where changing the order will not materially change the meaning of the document. Okay? But then this, the LI element represents a list item if the parent knows an OL. Okay. Now, next steps. This is what it looks like. Company mission. So after nav, but within the body. Company mission. Main ID equals mission div ID equaling mission statement H2 our mission. And then we're ending the H2. Closing the loop there. And we start H4. H4 is handpicked gonna have to type it in, huh? I wanted to copy and paste this from here. But oh, it's hiding. Hand picked. To me, this is helpful to see like how it's gonna look. So it's like copy, copy, copy. Don't know what I'm doing. At least look and see the preview of what all of this, which sort of makes sense to me. Like I've learned it at all of this at least once, but now I have to implement it. I have to execute on it. Learning it's not enough. You gotta like, that's the thing with coding, right? They tutorial hell. So I figured out that I've been in tutorial hell in like multiple different arenas of my life. What comes to mind is coding, but then drawing. Never been like, I learned how to draw, but just got to do it. And you know, wish I had infinite hours in the day. And then here, this is like coding for real, for real. Well, not for real, but it's like just one for real. Like not tutorial level. This is really doing it on VS Code. And so just don't know what to do exactly. Just copy people, see how it's working, learn along the way. So handpicked artisanally curated, free range, sustainable, small batch, fair trade, organic tea. They want to end that div. I don't believe we've done it yet. Good. So that closed the loop there. And then we add main. Back it up by 1. Main. Why are these not lining up? Are these lining up? Looks like they're not. That's fine. Okay, the next section is going to be tea of the month. So the body's going to continue to go all the way down. Okay, got tea of the month is this section. Mission statement. No. We've already done this one. We're moving on. We're scrolling down. We're going to section. So we're not doing main. We're doing section. All right. That is the end. And it says I got to take a long break. I want to keep going. And I did take a break in between there. So we're just going to pause that. Hopefully it paused. It did not. But pause. So after this, I should take a break. Probably after this, I'm going to stop streaming. Just going to do other stuff in my day. I would say this was a success, though. I got 3 hours, 40 minutes live, worked, the majority of that time. I still have 3 hours. I might just not stream it. Just because I don't want to be going back and forth and my wife's coming in. All right, we're just going to push through and then call it a day. See if I end up doing it again later on. But this has been fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too, and viewers in the future. So, section ID equals T of the month. Section ID T of month. H2 T of the month, ending that H4 what's steeping at the T cozy. And then ending that one and starting the div ID equals featured tees. Class equals T container image source equals, and then Berry Blitz. So not the T cozy, that's the Berry Blitz. Berry Blitz. Boom, boom. Okay. Alt equals, T with berries. Width equals 300 pixels. H for fall berry blitz T. That's ending it, and then end the div. Hopefully it scrolls down. Yes. So back to tab. Scrolling down. Oh, that's just too fast. Okay, let's just do it slow.
dun, 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 dun. Got the T of the month, the featured T's, T container, it's right here, width 300 pixels, fall berry blitz. Why did I write that? Why did I write this just now? T with berries width. Fall berry blitz T, right there, H4, and then the div. In the next section, we're going to start more div classes. Div class equals T container. Image source equals, okay, the donut image. So which one's the donut image? It's this one. Okay, the donut image is there. Alt equals like T with berries. Sure. Width equals 300 pixels. H4 seasonal donuts with H4. And just keep going, huh, with the divs. Okay, div so T class container. What are we trying to do? Image source. Okay, Myrtle Ave. Got that one. There, alt equals T with width equals 300 pixels. Then H4 Myrtle Ave T.
Then we have to end the div, close the loop. I think we're supposed to close the loop there. Myrtle FT. And then don't we have one more? Okay. This is making my brain hurt. I'm going to save it. And we are going to call it for today. Thanks for streaming.